Welcome back to the second video of this session. Decided to record it back to back just because this was kind of fun and I want to keep talking. So what people get wrong about me? What are some assumptions people make about me? Well, I mean, a lot of people always said I was intimidating. I'm always serious all the time. I'm always talking about work. I'm always wanting to grow and grow. But, my reasons for that isn't just to talk about work. Like, that's not my favorite thing in the world. But I just like to do it. I think it's my favorite hobby. It's my favorite passion. Just work 24/7. Even when I'm playing video games, it's fun to network with my friends and come on, play Call of Duty, not, turn off the brain a little bit, but, talk about some ideas, what we're doing that's working. Oh, almost got him. So that's kind of one of the assumptions. I think the other one is recently, this is probably the first time you'll ever hear this, but a lot of assumptions, people think that I use AI all the time for, like, all my ideas come from AI, everything I post is just AI. But a lot of it's, I'm using AI to kind of clean up my thoughts and use my the grammar correctly. I use a lot of bullet points for how I talk, so it kind of cleans up the ideas and makes it flow a lot better. It is AI slop at the end of the day, but still, I think it's good. I like it to clean it up, but I think a misconception about my social media, people just think it's AI. What am I not showing on social media? I don't show a lot of my private life. I do it more for business. 100% social media is a business for me. I think in the future, I've probably made 20 grand from social media in the last 2 months, and I'll probably make another, 50 grand next year from social media. So I think it's just one of those things where, I just use it as business, so I don't really post my personal life on social media. It's more for business. What am I more insecure about than people realize? I think I'm insecure about failing. I don't want to fail. I want to succeed. I want to just keep working harder and harder and not fail. I don't want to, I grew up in a 5,000 square foot house. I don't want to, live in a 2,000 square foot house. I want to live in a, 7,000, 10,000 square foot house. Like that's what I want to get to. My goal is that, right? What do I think people misunderstand about ambition? I think my thing is just people, and it's one of the saddest things in life that people misunderstand, is that they just don't understand that ambition is one of those things that you're born with, regardless. Like, you can't train it, you can't coach it, you don't give it to somebody. Like, it's something they're born with. Or, can go through, even, I think, traumatizing things. People with ambition will come through with more ambition. People without ambition will just come through without ambition through traumatizing things. So I don't think it's something you can be given. Alright, so real estate, real talk, unfiltered. Why most agents are stuck. Why do most agents never break through? I think it's an ambition thing, and I think it's an IQ thing. I think I've been, to multiple masterminds now with, with our company, and I've talked to a lot of agents from other companies. A lot of the agents have the same ideas and the same concepts, but just poor execution, and so they get stuck and they're not growing. And I think it's just, it's the IQ to be able to implement a lot of the stuff. It's difficult running a business. A lot of the businesses in real estate are universal to, every other business, right? Oop, didn't mean to click that. I got number 2 on my mouse. My mouse has a bunch of numbers on it, so I accidentally clicked on that, but I got a bunch of this stuff. Okay. What systems are they missing? Honestly, I think one of the systems is just having a key implementer. I see a lot of times that agents will go hire, virtual assistants to implement, which are good, but I think, also having that implementer like myself that's, in the office, working side by side, where you can go meet at a conference table and, like, list out the problems and solve them together. I think that's a lot of the, just an implementer. Whether they're the implementer or not, people are just missing that in general, right? You look at Donald Trump, you look at Elon Musk, those guys are implementers. Those guys in their business in the US, those are implementers, right? So just more implementers. Implementers get stuff done. They test new ideas. They execute. They attract more implementers, right? You ever seen an implementer attract another implementer? If not, then you don't have an implementer, or you're not an implementer yourself, right? What advice is outdated and straight up wrong? I think right now just coaching in general is wrong. I mean, you've got all of this, updated technology where, I don't have to like coach you anymore. Like I can pull up your screen on my computer and I can take control of your screen, right? I can run your ads for you. I think a lot of coaching is outdated. I think it's, I think it should be more, people do the work. We have the systems for people to do the work. You go to, like, let's say, Amazon. It's like they're not coaching you how to sell the product. They bought the infrastructure to ship everything, right? So I think that's just really outdated. The next one is, what should new agents stop doing immediately? Overpaying for just people. Like, oh shoot, that was a teammate. He just killed a teammate. But I think one of the biggest issues new agents should stop doing immediately is just overpaying for ad funnels and things like that, just that don't work. That's probably one of the biggest things. What activities actually move the needle? The activities that actually move the needle is, doing something, implementing a system, putting something in place, writing the ad, just doing something in general. That's what really moves the needle. I think a lot of people get stuck with thinking too long, too much, where you got to think less and just act more. Actions lead further than anything else. What looks productive but isn't? Posting on social media 100% looks so productive but is not productive at all. If you're trying to generate business as a real estate agent, that does not work. It works a little bit if you're a sphere, but honestly, social media I think is better for B2B business than it is for, converting buyers and sellers. I mean, yeah, you'll get the occasional referrals from it, but it's like, you're not gonna have $1 million business just from social media. I mean, you will if you're the rare few, but majority of real estate agents, social media should be something where they just have an AI do for them in the background, and they focus on other systems. What I'd focus on if I had to start over today, I would focus on coding with. I would just do coding, honestly. Learn coding, how to code with the AI, and just start building projects. I was thinking that this morning. I'm like, if I was in a kid again, I would put my kid or myself into coding school and just learn different projects, kind of like building a Lego. They have Legos basically for coding. Like, you could give a kid a book on coding when they build they build an app or they build a Tetris game or something like that. I think coding's the future, especially for business. Like, for my business, I use coding a lot for a lot of my automations. Whether it's JSON or it's using app scripts to automate a lot of the automations and things like that. I mean, Zapier's good, but Zapier costs more if you could just code it yourself. So that's what I would do if I had to start over. So thanks again. This is a good episode. Just wanted to get this one. If you do like this, that's why I recorded it. So if you like this, do hit the like button, comment, and I'll, or direct message me on any of the platforms. Let's connect, let's talk, let's network, let's grow each other's businesses. So thank you, and talk to you later.